हरे कृष्ण। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So we were discussing yesterday about the uh, how hearing is more important than uh, reading, because in hearing the consciousness is transmitted, not just information. Because a person, when he is hearing, then he is also getting the other person's consciousness. So that was our point of discussion. I wanted to add a few more points to it. So just a second. So three few points we discussed yesterday is, first thing is how when we are hearing from the person, it is not just the it is not just the information, but it is also very much the part of his realization that is transmitted. So when we are reading the book, it is also hearing, but it does not have so much effect. So I was also discussing how that in Vedic culture, hearing is very much important, Shruti, and very cautiously the information is given because people misuse it. They don't understand. Now, why people like so much internet? Because they get so much information very fast. We all like to have information, but we are not understanding the value of realization, because we cannot apply anything unless we realize this. And because listening affect our sound. So then we discussed how listening is affecting not only the eardrums, even our body and the consciousness, everything. Then we discuss how we have 72,000 nadis, and they are all affecting. And then we discuss the story of how Radhanand Maharaj, he he went to one temple and he spoke Durlabha Manusha Janma. As soon as a person heard, he could not accept it. It did not taste him very nice. Then he left it, but it churned his heart. And then he he after 1 year he came unto Mara and said, "Okay, I want to take initiation from you." That means what? Even if there is imperfection in your composition, but we are transmitting. If there is person's heart is honest, it will be accepted, because the sound penetrates very deeper, not just the surface of the heart. Although the surface will reject it, but inside Krishna is very happy. And we also discussed that how when we distribute books, why the Lord is pleased as a Paramatma in the heart of that living entity, because for many millions of lifetimes the living entity is away from Krishna. And if we suddenly go and we inspire him to come to Krishna, immediately Krishna will be pleased. And this is actually what happens to a living entity, why they become happy when they do book distribution. And because the sound enters and enters very deeply. And similarly, the sound of the holy name comes, and people hear the holy name first time. Some people they have rejection, and this also we discussed. They have rejection. I don't want to listen because, uh, of course, even if they don't want, the holy name enters. This we discuss how Haridas Thakur told to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, that the living entities who are the plants, trees, animals who cannot chant, but if somebody loudly chanting, it will directly affect them. So that is another thing. And the holy name has already entered and it may increase. And one more thing we discussed on the piety of the human heart, because how pious the heart is, and that is how it is strong. If a person is impious, then the heart is not very strong. If he's unrighteous, the heart is weak, and his heart becomes very weak. And this weakness of heart that Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita as Hridaya Daurbalyam. The weakness of heart means weakness of consciousness, basically. The consciousness of the person is weak. When we don't want to admit some truth simply because that these truths are too painful for us. And this is actually what happens to the people outside. They don't want to accept the truth. That's why we should not get bewildered. Arre, we are trying to give such nice information, sorry, such nice Krishna consciousness. Why people don't take it? Of course, they will not take it because their hearts are weak. How the hearts are weak? Because they are engaged in sense gratification. So, as long as we are doing the sense gratification, we will not be able to have very we will not be able to the degree we are doing sense gratification, to the degree our heart becomes weak, the consciousness is weak. So weakness of heart also means that psychological reactions, the reactions of rejection of truth, and this weak heart, it will react painfully to everything. Like sometimes we also feel some statements of Prabhupada, they are too heavy. Too heavy is because there is some more rejections in our heart. And the only way to cure this weakness of heart, if you remember what we discussed, is that is the cause of this is sinful nature and our sanskaras and everything else. The only cure is to listen again and again. Sushrushro Shraddadhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi. And remembering that when we hear the, then immediately there will be some change. More and more we have to hear, even though I don't like also. And we have to try to hear all these things again and again. And also we discussed how Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says this process of Shravanam or to cultivate is an important activity. And people think, okay, no, Bhagavatam time, time to rest. Whatever sleep is not covered in the night time, just sit in the class and you get some relaxation. And you cover up. It's not like that. We have to be really serious to understand. A person must analyze according to the six principles of analysis of the scriptures. And maybe we'll discuss on that some other time. There is Upapatti, Upasamharana, and Prakarma. All these things are there. I also don't know about them more detail. And I will do research. I will learn about them and I'll explain to all of you. But there are six principles we have to learn. Maybe in future classes I will take, we will discuss some of the times. Now, the person who is listening must at some time conduct an internal analysis of what he has heard in accordance with the six principles. Maybe tomorrow I will try to take this to now there is Karma Mimamsa followers. They also explain how a person can understand the meaning of scriptures. And Chaitanya Charitamrita also Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that a person can listen and one can practice kirtan for thousands of years and he will not even have a hint of prema. Bahu janma karedi shravana kirtana tabutu na paibo Krishna pade premadan. He says even if person is doing, because he does not listen properly. That is the problem. We need to learn to listen properly. And they do kirtan, but they are doing incorrectly. Shravanam Kirtanam is a science. This is a very important point. Shravanam Kirtanam is a science. Science means it is very precise. If you, if we, all of us have remembered the experiments which we do in the laboratories in our school times, somebody in the college times also they did. If you are not precise, you don't get result because it is science. Similarly, Shravanam Kirtanam also we should be very precise. That's the reason we have to regularly go to the dham, holy places, and stay in a very strong association to increase the quality of our chanting. We should not go for sightseeing. People come to dham says, okay, what all places we visited? Arre, what all places visited is not important. How intensely we prayed is important. How sincerely we chanted is very important. They said, oh, we did not visit this place, we did not visit this place. No need of visiting so many places. We just have to, of course, it is important that we have to go, but more important than is that we have to be at some place and sit and try to meditate on holy name. We have to sit and chant on the holy name. So that is very, very important, that why we come to dham to improve the quality of our chanting and hearing. It is not that we should pro Prabhupada's pastime with Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, where everybody is going to visit Shai Vishnu, and Prabhupada sat and heard from Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur because he understood. No, dham means we have to hear about Krishna, we have to chant about Krishna, we have to pray for Krishna. That is the purpose of staying in Vrindavan means, or staying in dham, going to dham means that is the purpose. So Shravanam Kirtan is a science. So when we come to dham and practice, na, then that science, the quality will increase. We will become more and more precise. We will become more refined in our quality of devotion. That is the reason. Kartik, why people come? Because there are many devotees, there are many saintly people. We get association and we become more intense. Like here, so many such Babas are there. So many people are there who does so much intense bhajan, and especially for Vrindavan, it is the simplicity that matters, not how much he is having knowledge of scriptures or how much he is doing what. Vrindavan is more of simplicity. A person is very simple, he can happily stay in Vrindavan because Vrindavan Dham, it is embracing. When you go to mother, you are very simple hearted, a small child going to mother, and mother is tightly embracing the child. So similarly, Dham also, Vrindavan Dham is also embracing a person very tightly. But he should come with that simple heart. He said, okay, my dear Radharani, Vrindavan Dham, I want to be with you. So this is how we improve our quality. Then we say, okay, I have come. So we feel sheltered and we feel protected and connected. So this is how we have to practice. It is not just okay because I have some money or I have some facilities I can stay in them. It is not possible. Dham is one who is very simple, one who is very simple hearted, and Dham will embrace him. Radharani gives all protection. We need not worry so much. It not so many people are, many scholarly people are there, many rich people are there, but they may not be qualified. The science is, this is science. That's why it is bhakti is a science. We have to be grateful, we have to simple, we have to be humble. So that is how the qualities manifest. Then our Shravanam Kirtanam, the quality of our Shravanam Kirtan also increases. If a person practices correctly Shravanam Kirtanam, then the that is actually, this is the greatest science in the world. Of all the sciences, Shravanam is the greatest science. The greatest, and it's the greatest meditation also. The science of thinking about Krishna. And how can I think about Krishna? Because if you remember the first shloka of Bhagavatam, Janmadhyasya Tonvayaditaratas, you say Satyam Param Dhimahi. Dhimahi means meditation. So why we are reading Bhagavatam? We want to meditate on Krishna. And in the end also, the same shloka Sukadeva Goswami ends with Satyam Param Dhimahi. So if you remember that uh, so he is telling that is the purpose of all our life. Brahma in the beginning of creation as soon as he got the heard this tapa, what did he do? He meditated. So the creation started with meditation of Brahma, and the purpose is that we meditate on the Lord. Once we learn that, because ultimately Shravanam Kirtanam we are doing for what? Smaranam only. So ultimately we have to come to the stage of Smarana. We should be able to remember Krishna all the time. Smartavya satatam Vishnu, Visvartavyo najatachit, Sarva Vidhi Nishedasu Yeta Yevarkinkara. The whole purpose of Vedic study and all the scriptures, the essence is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So this why it is the greatest science, thinking about Krishna. How can this is the very complex internal demanding process. But it begins with the first thing, that is Shravanam and Kirtanam. If I master them, then it is possible. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, we not wait for prema. Uh, we have to just work on this Shravanam Kirtan, and sometime everything will come. And what is the science of listening means I should not passively listen. I have to very actively analyze what I am hearing. So there are first a person needs to understand how it began and how it ended in order to understand the meaning of message. So now we are discussing Bhagavatam where it started Janmadyasyata, understanding the absolute truth, Satyam Param Dhimhi, and ends with Satyam Vimalam Vishokam Amritam Satyam Param Dhimhi. Amritam Vishokam Amalam. So Satyam Param. So ends with, so beginning end it's all about absolute truth, that is about Krishna. Then what happens? The message will penetrate very deep. When a person begins that uh, I must understand and I should also analyze it properly. And that's why Prabhupada repeats the same thing again and again. Now, sometimes, what? Why so much repetition? And one devotee asked, disciple asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, why do you always repeat the same thing? We already know this. And what is the science of listening? The fact that I do not just listen passively, at the same time, I very actively analyze what I hear. So, when Prabhupada was asked also, Prabhupada said that because you don't understand anything. Prabhupada says very simple. Because it is not just passive. When if we are understanding means we apply it. We heard it, but we did not understand. Uh, and Prabhupada, he went to various temples in West. So Prahlad Maharaj says that they are the first devotees who were at different cities in different places, and they periodically called each other at the temples. And where Prabhupada gave lecture, and they asked, "Okay, what is he talking about now? What did he say?" And Prabhupada says in the first year, I am not the body, spirit, soul. And second year, what Prabhupada said, I am not the body. And third year also, Prabhupada spoke the same thing. And one student, he dared to ask this question. So why are you repeating? Prabhupada said, because you forget otherwise. Because if you don't repeat something that I am not the body, there is every chance that we are forgetting. And in a day, we can see how much times we remember I am not the body and how much time we forget. Most of the time, I forget that I am spirit soul. It goes with the body only or with the mind. Because as a because living as a body is natural for all of us. Of course, for some of you who are realize that is different, but living as a body is natural, and we do not need to be mm, like as a living as a soul is difficult. Psychologically, a person due to the weakness of heart will reject, and that's why a person. It is important that we always remember this here again and again what Prabhupada is telling. Of course, some other topics are also there which we are trying to discuss. So, so the main important thing is this is science, and the simplicity of heart is what is the process we have to develop. Otherwise, people uh, they after some years na, they get distracted with other things. They'll be interested in ayurveda, yoga, and they'll be interested in some social services and some dharma and some other sanskrit and all these things. This is all because there is a problem in hearing process. Any questions, comments on this till now? Before I have few more things to share. If Because if a person does not meditate, he just listen passively, then what happens to this listening is that it it enters into one ear and exists in another ear. This is actually what happens, and it does not enter into the heart. But we have to apply something. We have to at least work. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, the science of hearing you're discussing now, Prabhuji, like, and you were telling the example of Radhana Samara, someone got hurt and he left the place, but there also you were explaining that though he may not like and he left, but that words pierced into his heart, that is why he left. So I'm just trying to understand for our practical application in preaching, Prabhuji, like many people they come to hear, but not everyone who is hearing us, they're coming to our sessions or following us. So how to understand whether what we are telling whether it has reached them, or why is that they're not able to take it up, Prabhuji? Is it because of lack of shukruti, or what you said, like it has peers but they'll just wait for some time, so that they can again come back? How to understand this, Prabhuji? Though they hear, we can see them hearing so well, and they come and comment, the lecture is very nice, it was, at least they give a comment that they feel peaceful for 1 hour at least, that minimum they have experienced, Prabhuji. I could see that, but after that, they're not inclined to hear. What is that they're
Yeah,
undergoing
yeah,
now?
they lack Sukruti, and many such that now they got little Sukruti of hearing, but slowly it accumulates. Maybe one day we pray, like we give the example of Giraj Maharaj. When Prabhupada, Giraj Maharaj, he was always meditating. He wrote, he pasted on the top of his bed, I am God, and he used to meditate. And
Mm.
one day, Prabhupada came to their city and they told Swamiji came. So he went to meet. And Prabhupada, the first statement Prabhupada said in the class, of course, in between, Prabhupada looked at, no, he gave a class and then Giraj Maharaj asked, so Swamiji, how do we know who is real Guru? And Prabhupada looks at Giraj Maharaj and says, it depends. If you want to become God or you want to serve God. And Giraj Maharaj immediately he understood. Array, Prabhupada could immediately see what I am seeing because he always meditated, I am God. And then
Mm.
next year again Prabhupada comes. And next year Giraj Maharaj was there. By the time he joined ashram and everything happened. And then he asked, Prabhupada gave a class and Giraj Maharaj raised the hand. And Prabhupada said, that oh, I remember you last year you asked a question, so that time I prayed to Krishna that you should become a devotee. So what happened is, even though Giraj Maharaj he was doing something else, Prabhupada told exactly opposite. So but still he was sincere. So that is one thing. One is sincerity is there, one is sukruti is there, and more important than all these things is somebody should pray for us. A devotee prays for us, immediately it has a great effect on our consciousness. And this is
Mm.
actually what happens. So if you are praying for somebody, they will definitely get something. That is how it works. There's sukruti also, there is sincerity also, but more than all of them, a devotee's mercy is needed for us to become a devotee.
Oh, here the mercy means praying for that particular soul. Is it, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Somebody decide that I become a devotee. That's why we are sitting here. That's how
Oh,
it works.
Okay, okay, okay. It's a
So
very subtle
you
things.
have to desire for all of them that they all should become, and you sincerely pray to Krishna, and Krishna let them all become devotees. And then
Mm.
you give a class, and then Krishna will listen your prayer. I said, okay, you want it, let it be.
Rajan, another doubt is like we are talking that consciousness is affected by the people. Like when we what we speak through the words, also conscious can affect the people around us. Also, no, Prabhuji, positive or negative, both things can happen, and that is
Yeah.
what association really means. Association with good people means their consciousness might get transferred to us as we associate. Prabhuji, my doubt is like every jiva has come with his own baggages that he wanted to enjoy something here, and he has got the combination of sattva raja tamas according to what he wanted to enjoy here this present lifetime. And association normally has a capacity to change his what he came, but for example, someone want to enjoy in a very bad way, but with good association they may improve also, and some people may turn little lower also because of bad association. So what is it, the role of the other people words in our design, Prabhuji? Like jivas, it is affect the jivas design itself now, Prabhuji, for what he has come.
Yes, Mataji. Actually, one thing I wanted to appreciate is why you are getting so many doubts, because you are preaching, and that's example for everyone. Good example you are setting. It's not that because you are hearing, you are applying, and you are also preaching. So immediately you are able to get so many doubts, and
Yes,
that is
Prabhuji.
a very important sign. We all have to. Preaching is always helpful, because, and that too, when you are on the ground and you are dealing with people, you will
Mm.
definitely get many questions.
Yes,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Mataji, for all the questions. So
Very
the
great.
answer is like three things are there, Mataji. Like when a living entity, he has karma which comes from the previous life, and then there is karma which he creates in the first 4 years of the age when he's with the mother. Mother creates
Mm.
so much of the personality of that person,
Mm.
and then after that, when his buddhi is awakened, from that time onwards, the personality, then we have only one choice in our life. The choice is what association we take. Apart
Mm.
from that, we don't have much. So if we are, we have to choose our association all the time. That choice is always there with us,
Mm.
and that is where the living entity can, if whatever association we choose, the rest of our personality will be like that. Of course, 90% of our, at least 80% of our personality is already designed from previous life and first 4 years, but after that there is still some chance of changing, and that is possible only in the what type of association. If I am associating with very passionate people who are interested in big career and all, I'll become like that. If I'm passionate with sports or yoga or whatever, or if I am with devotees, I'll become like that. So basically, I have always choice. Every living entity has choice. If what did we do? We made a choice of to being with. I always we all decided to be with good people, and
Mm.
because of that, we got association of devotees. And as soon as we got it, we based on little bit sincerity, we all choose to be devotees. That's why we are here now. And every day morning, we are trying to choose our association. We say, okay, morning I'll connect to Bhagavatam. So we are choosing our association every day.
Mm.
So that's how we can change ourselves. So only choice we have is now is association.
Mm. Non-devotees, Prabhuji, I mean, for them,
Even the
how it works.
non-devotees also, they always have the choice of associating. They can
Mm.
associate with the TV all the day. They can associate with social media. Or they can associate with some books or anything. It is
Prabhuji, the
them.
doubt is this association they are choosing now, Prabhuji. Is it also predetermined by karma, or there is still a choice that
There is a
someone is
choice.
destined to be very bad, but he can choose a good association? Is there a choice there, Prabhuji?
There is some choice of association. That's a little
Oh,
bit privilege still there for all of them.
oh,
Like say
okay.
now, I go to a very very bad. He has many conditionings and all, and he
Mm.
comes to the association of devotees. Then he says, "Yeah, I'll
Prabhuji,
be cured
leave
if I."
devotees, Prabhuji. Devotees you leave. Generally people associate. There are also some sattvic people they associate non-devotees, but somehow they come up with their bad qualities now, Prabhuji. So is it pure, is it by karma they're doing, or always there's a choice for a jiva in that level also?
Yes, yes, there is a choice. At least because we have buddhi is there,
Okay,
Animals don't
okay.
have choice, but humans are buddhi is given, so they can discriminate even that
Oh.
also.
Because
And take
generally
it.
we say everything is predetermined, predetermined. So there is a choice. That point people are asking me, Prabhuji, when we preach the
No,
disclaimer.
predetermined means astrologers can tell everything, but they cannot tell everything. Why they are not able to tell everything? If it is predetermined,
Mm.
through astrology you
Mm.
should know, but you cannot know everything. You may know only
Mm.
10-20% you can tell through astrology. You cannot tell
Mm.
everything about a person. See what
Mm.
if you see 90% of astrologer, na, they can tell what is in the past happened to you. They cannot tell
Mm.
future much.
Mm. 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 Yes,
Why
Prabhuji.
they cannot tell? Because every living entity has a choice. That's why they cannot tell.
Okay. Okay.
They
Okay,
can tell
Prabhuji.
that okay, your health may not be good after this age. This they can tell. But when it comes to the state of consciousness, na, that they cannot tell.
Correct. Now
They
I
can
got it.
tell that you will become sick after 60 years. That they
Mm.
can tell, but they cannot tell whether I will be crying because I am sick or I am grateful to Lord. Okay, now Lord, you have helped me to come
Oh.
out. So, what state that cannot they cannot do, because they can tell that he is inclined to be good people, he is inclined for bad people, but still a living entity always have a choice.
Oh. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Right. Yes, Champaklata Majid.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
No, no.
Prabhuji, in astrology, there is also in the chart they say like they'll be able to make out whether the person will become spiritual or not, na Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah.
So with that, we also get to know that apart from the free will that he has, like he's also destined to certain kind of bhakti sukruti, in the sense bhakti.
Spiritual means it need not be devotee only, Mataji. They can go to Mayavadis
Uh-huh.
also. They can go to
Oh,
Brahma Kumaris also. They can go to Ramakrishna also.
oh, okay, like that.
So they
Uh-huh.
have to choose. They have to be sincere in that regard also. He'll be spiritual only. These people are also spiritual people, but
Mm.
it is no use much.
But after a person comes to the line of devotion, like this is out of curiosity that I'm asking you, Prabhuji. Like generally, I never get the charts checked and all, but I really wish to get it checked for one thing, that will I be able to read all books of Srila Prabhupada in my lifetime? I feel like asking that question because that desire is there, but I don't know if I'll be able to achieve something of that sort and become more serious in Krishna consciousness.
That astrology cannot tell, Mataji. You have to pray
Oh,
to Prabhupada, you have to pray to spiritual master and Krishna. They will let you happen. Because
oh,
our conditionings may not allow us to read. In a material sense, like I may not be very scholarly, I may not read. But if Guru, that's why Pangum Langayate Girim. Yat Kripa Tamaham Mande Sri Gurum Dinatarina. So
mm,
if a guru wants, a layman can climb a mountain, a dumb man can speak the scriptures. That's it is our qualification. And it
mm,
is not that how much we are reading, it's more important how much you are understanding and applying. You may
correct,
read only
correct,
one Bhagavad Gita book and you apply it and you can come back to God it. So
correct.
the point is your understanding that is more important, and we need to have mercy of our Guru and Krishna to understand scriptures nicely. And if we pray, and they will let it happen. So it's a spiritual thing. It depends on prayers and mercy.
Okay, so only on that. So, okay, so in that sense,
You
the
just
charts won't
desire
be able
and
to.
pray. You just desire and pray, and Krishna will Radharani will fulfill.
Very good. Mm. But that also means sometimes they look at the chart and tell, this could be the last birth. Sometimes to some people, some astrologers say that. So, how do we understand that, Prabhuji, then?
Yeah, it is not that it is possibility, it is lost. If a person commits some Vaishnava aparadha or anything, then
Mm-hmm.
finish. He will have to take birth again. He may get some other, if he commits offenses, he may have to take birth again. So they are
Okay.
only giving that option is there that you can be last birth, but need not be.
Mm. Okay.
So that is the point.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Harish. Yes, so we will do little justice and Prabhupada has some nice things to share. So here is a discussion that is happening between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. And Sukadeva Goswami is telling how Narada Muni, he inquired from Brahmaji about all the universes. After seeing him well satisfied with his service, Narada Muni first pleased, then he is asking question. Tasmad idam bhagavatam Puranam Dashalakshanam Proktam Bhagavatam Praha Prita Putraya Bhutakrit. He says that thereupon the supplementary Vedic literature Srimad Bhagavatam, which was described with the personality of Godhead and which contains 10 characteristics, were told with satisfaction by the father Brahma to his son Narada Muni. So, although Prabhupada writing, although Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken in 4 verses, it has 10 characteristics which will be explained in the next chapter, that is 10 topics. The 4 verses is the first side of uh, is first said that the Lord existed before the creation, and thus the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam includes Vedanta aphorism Janma Dasyataha. Janma Adi means Janma, that means creation, maintenance, and destruction. All three comes. Janma Adi means. And at the 4 verses in which it is said that the Lord is the root of everything, that be beginning from the creation up to the supreme abode, the Lord naturally explained 10 characteristics. One should not misunderstand by wrong interpretation that the law spoke only 4 verses and therefore all the rest 17,996 verses are useless. It's not like that. The 10 characteristics, as will be explained in the next chapter, require so many verses just to explain them properly. So the 4 verses are there, but for us to understand, we need so much experience. Like, say, now one shloka we take and discuss for 1 hour. That means we're trying to understand that one shloka properly, we need explanation. And if Lord is speaking some shloka, means you need at least 16, 20,000 shloka, 18,000 shlokas to understand them. Brahma had also advised Narada previously that he should expand the idea he had heard from Brahmaji. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed this to Sri Rupa Goswami in a nutshell. But the disciple Rupa Goswami expanded this very elaborately, and the same subject was further expanded by Jiva Goswami. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke something, Rupa Goswami wrote one book, and Jiva Goswami further elaborated. And then when it comes to Prabhupada and Vishwanath Chakravarti, they are also elaborating on it. That means they are making us understand the same thing in a much more deeper way. We are just trying to follow in the footsteps of all these authorities. Prabhupada is telling same thing. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not just ordinary. So 18,000 verses are there. It can be in one book only, but Prabhupada wrote 18 books. That means he is making it furthermore. And not only that, what Prabhupada did, he gave so many shlokas, he gave big classes also on it. That means he further elaborated. So each verse can be understood we need so much to understand. Like we say, na, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, and the first verse of Bhagavatam, 3 months he spoke. And can you imagine, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is not redundant. He is not speaking the same thing again and again. He is giving different understanding and conclusions on the same verse. He's such a scholarly, so he could give so much substance. So it is unlimited in strength, and however, one may expand it according to one's ability. Bhagavatam still cannot be finished by such expansion. So Bhagavatam is unlimited. More and more you can expand one shloka. Srimad Bhagavatam, being the sound representation of Lord, is simultaneously explained in 4 verses and in 4 billion verses, all the same. In as much as Lord is smaller than the atom and bigger than the unlimited sky, such is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. So nice purport. Nice. So how great is Bhagavatam? We can expand unlimitedly. Naradad Praha Munaye Saraswatyastate Nripa Dhyayate Brahma Paramam Vyasyatma Vyasamite Tejase. He says that in succession, O king, the great sage Narada instructed Srimad Bhagavatam unto the unlimited powerful Vyasadeva. who meditate in devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, on the banks of river Saraswati. Now, why we are having some like the way we understand is actually we all know these stories. We feel it's quite simple. Array, all these things we know. Krishna is Supreme Personality of God. Who does not know? Everybody knows, right? But that is not actually like that. Because in previous ages, to understand Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, people need to do great tapasya. That's why we hear the story of Bhragumani trying to understand who is the Supreme. He went to Shiva, Brahma, and then Vishnu. Then he understood, yeah, Vishnu is Supreme. But Vishnu is supreme, but where is Krishna? Krishna, to understand Krishna, you need much more tapasya to understand. That means it was not so easy. Why? Because when does Krishna come? Krishna comes once in a day of Brahma. That means 999 Divyugas, there is no Krishna only. You have only Vishnu and other avatars. Krishna is only once in a day. That means all the people of that, all the ages, 999 Divyugas. With Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. They don't have access because we are having so much easy access. That's why we feel, oh, it's so simple. Why Brahmaji is doing so much tapasya, why Narada is doing, and why Vyasdev is so much confused. He could have directly wrote about Krishna, why he has tried so many things, and in the end, Bhagavatam, because it is so rare. For us, we got so easy access, we are not understanding how difficult it was in previous ages. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy we are getting. Because of Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are understanding all these things. Otherwise, it is not such a easy thing. So here, in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th chapter, verse 30, Narada instructs the sage Vyas as follows. So, Ato Mahabhaga Bhavan Amogadrik Suchishrava Satya Drita Vrata Urukramasya Kilabanda Mukyate Samadhinanusmara Tad Vicheshtitam. He says, oh, greatly fortunate, pious philosopher, your name and fame are universal, and you are fixed in the absolute truth with spotless character, infallible vision. I ask you meditate upon the activities of personality of God, whose activities are unparalleled. So this is Narada Muni glorifying Vyasdev. And he says, so is the disciplic succession of Brahma Sampradaya. The practice of yoga, meditation is not neglected, but because the devotee are bhakti yogis, they do not undertake the trouble to meditate upon the impersonal Brahman. They meditate on Brahma Param, that is supreme. So Narada Muni, as a spiritual master of Vyasdev, know very well the position of Vyasdev, and thus he certified the qualities of Sri Vyasdev as fixed in absolute truth with great wow. Narada advised meditate upon the transcendental activities of impersonal of the Lord. Impersonal Brahman has no activities. So he's telling meditate on the Lord. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Param Bhava. So this is Lord Arjuna is also having the same realization, understanding. When Vyasdev fixed his mind in meditation, so this is what is the purpose. We have to meditate. He did not he did in Bhakti Yoga trance and actually saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead with Maya. So this we discussed in the 7th chapter, first canto. The illusory energy in contraposition. As we have discussed before, the Lord's Maya or illusion is also a representation because Maya has no existence without the Lord. Darkness is not independent of light. Without light, no one can exist. The contraposition of darkness. However, this Maya or illusion cannot overcome the personality of Godhead. Therefore, perfection of meditation is realization of the personality of Godhead along with its transcendental activities. So when we are seeing the Lord means we are meditating means along with that. Meditation and personal Brahman is troublesome. And then he says, O king, your questions as to how the universe became manifest from the gigantic form, the personality of Godhead, as well as other questions, I shall answer in detail by explaining the 4 verses already mentioned. So he is going to explain these verses in detail. As stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, this great transcendental literature is the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic knowledge, and therefore all questions that can be humanly possible regarding the universal affairs beginning from the creation all are answered in Srimad Bhagavatam. The answers depends only on the qualification of the person who explains them. The 10 divisions of Srimad Bhagavatam, as explained in the great speak of Srila Sukadeva Goswami, are the limitation of all this question. An intelligent person will derive all intellectual benefits from them by proper utilization. So this is next sloka onwards. It starts the 10 topics in the next chapter, which we will try to discuss elaborately because this is a very important. This 9th chapter is Chatushloki Bhagavatam, and then Sukadeva Goswami is telling to Parikshit Maharaj, I am going to elaborate on your question of creation further. So it comes in the 3rd canto. So much of creation is explained, 4, 5, 6 times it is explained. So in that way, we will understand. Thank you all very much. Rantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada. Any questions, comments before we went? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.